Easy. Yes, I found it. What? I have found it. What? The beer bubble!
Hi everyone! This is the second part of our interviews during Craft Beer Circus, a new touring beer festival that visited the base in Stockholm on the 23rd of March. First up is Alexandra from Jämtlands Bryggeri, one of the first craft breweries in the modern wave of craft breweries. So guys, welcome back to Craft Beer Circus. I'm standing here with Alexandra from Jämtlands Bryggeri, who so rightly commented that you are actually the oldest brewery in here today.
That's right, 1996.
So what is Jämtlands Brewery?
We're one of the oldest craft brewers in Sweden, and we're located in the northern part of Sweden, which is actually the middle part of Sweden. And we're producing a lot of classic styles, lagers, ales, British IPAs, not like out there, but we can be fun and do fun things, but a lot of classic beers.
You got one beer with you, got a taste here of the Huldra.
Yes.
Which is quite a new product.
Yeah, we released it in 22. It's our first beer that we released in a can. We're usually releasing our beers in bottles, and this is our new line with like folklore kind of things. So we got Huldra, which is a hazy IPA, 5.8%. And then we also got Elva, Vitra and Troll.
Nice.
Yeah.
What do you think of the festival so far?
I think it's really nice. I was at the festival that they had last year in Jönköping. There was a little bit trouble with the weather, a lot of rain, and we were outside, so that was kind of bummer. But I think this is really nice. A lot of people, good atmosphere. Yep.
I've told everyone it feels like almost like you rented a place and had a home party.
Yeah, exactly. Like a staff party, maybe.
Yeah. It's really cool. The atmosphere is fantastic. People are really happy.
Yeah.
And you get the chance to meet your customers and actually speak to them.
Yeah, that's perfect. And we've got a lot of our customers are basically located in the northern part of Sweden. So we will take every chance we get that can be like in the midern part and the southern part of Sweden, so we can meet the customers and tell them what we have with us and the products that we sell. And
you actually have Hell. The beer is back. The original modern lager that was made by Rune at Akkurat and OT back then, together with Jämtland.
Yep.
And you re-released it last year during the Oliver Twist 30th anniversary.
Yeah, in May last year. And then we released it in can, 44 centiliter can, during July last year. It's the classic recipe, but with a little twist in the hops. So the hops that we used in late 90s are not so modern today. So it's a little bit tweaked, but basically the same beer.
Do you think these kinds of festivals are the future for beer festivals, or is it just a complement to the big ones?
Oh, that's a really hard question, because I think it's a really good thing for small towns, maybe, or towns that don't usually have a big festival. Like, I think this type of festival is nice to have in Stockholm, because Stockholm Beer and Whiskey Festival haven't had their thing going in a couple of years. Now they're going to do it in the fall. But I think this kind of festival would be hard, like in Gothenburg, for example, where they have a lot of local breweries and they have a really, really big festival in the spring, Öl- och Whiskymässa. So I think this concept will be hard, but I think moving around and smaller location, I think it's perfect, because then you don't have to travel to a bigger city and it's not expensive with hotel rooms and transfer and stuff. So yeah, I think it's a good idea.
And basically all the brewers in here has almost the same amount of beer. It's a really familiar, like, nice atmosphere. I've got to ask you one more question before I let you back to pour your beers to all the thirsty customers over here. It's the hardest question in the world. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Especially for someone who works in beer. You're going to die today, and you can have one more beer. In production, not in production, any beer from any brewery, what would the last hurrah be? What would the last beer that you drink be?
Oh my God.
I know it's a tough question, but hey, I have to have one tough question in the podcast.
I really liked a brown ale from Smith Street that they had last fall. I think it's called Autumn.
Yeah, we actually have it now on Akkurat on tap.
Okay.
So you know where to go tonight.
That's perfect. I love that beer because it's perfect with food. It's perfect with company. It's perfect like mingling. I love brown ale. I'm like an old man when it comes to beer, so
well,
brown
thank you
ale.
very much.
Brown ale all the time. I think I would pick that one.
Thank you very much, Alexandra. Beer Bubbles podcast is going to come back in a moment, but I'm going to let you get back to work.
Thank you.
And this is just the first stint. It's going to go on in the afternoon and tonight as well, so...
it's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers. Well, it was fun to talk a bit about Sweden's first so-called modern lager, Hell, since one of my colleagues at work, Kattis, is actually the custodian of the brand. Now on to the naughtiest and angriest brewery name in Sweden. It is Tor from Ilbatting. Guys, welcome back to Beer Bubbles, the bubbliest podcast in the world. We're at Craft Beer Circus. I'm standing here with Tor from Ilbatting. One of the angriest breweries. I'm sorry. A small brewery. Tell us about the brewery and tell us about yourself.
My name is Tor. We're a small brewery from Gävle, up north from Stockholm. And I started home brewing 10 years ago. And we started the brewery in 17. So it's been 7 years now.
Ilbatting is actually kind of a Swedish old word for a kid that is all over the place and
like misbehaved, like a rascal or brat, like a shitty child.
So is that the attitude behind the brewery?
Well, I've been called that myself when I was a kid, so trying to keep that spirit alive with the brewery.
What do you think about the atmosphere here?
It's very nice. It's in a nightclub, so you can get that feeling through the beer festival as well. So it's a nice atmosphere.
It's more like a party.
Yeah, it's like a party.
Yeah. You poured me a beer. I don't even know what this is. What is it?
It's a Belgian strong golden ale, 9%. We're trying to make a Tufel clone.
It's really easy drinkable.
I'm not saying it's a clone, but it's inspiration. So we try to brew it as smooth as possible, so you can't really taste that it's 9%.
No, it's really easy to drink.
So it's fermented like 3 times. It's fermented with ale yeast, and then we put some sugar in it, and then it's the end fermentation is with saison yeast.
Okay,
so it's very dry.
I know you're not allowed to drink while you're working here today.
Yeah.
Of course, it's a nightclub permit for the alcohol. Have you seen anything that you really want to try?
Yeah, I want to try Snausaurus. There's sour beers. And everyone here is really great, so I want to try them all.
As many as you can.
Yeah, but you want to get rarities that some of the beers are only at the festival, so you want to try those. So some sours, and I think there's some stouts and porters somewhere.
I've got to ask you, big festivals has been a thing for the last 30 years here in Sweden. Yeah. This is the opposite. Is this the future of the festival scene, or is it just a compliment for the big ones?
I think this is much more fun to be at, both as a brewer and as a visitor. So I think we're going to see more of these. I think it's a better way to showcase the brewery.
You get more time with the customers as well?
Yeah, and we're all playing on the same level.
On the same playing field.
Yeah, playing field, like it's a level playing field. We just each get a sign and we put up our beers, and you don't have a huge display.
The beer speaks for itself.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not your sign, it's what you serve.
Yeah, so for us, we're very small. We started as a home brewer, so it's a good way for us to play with the big boys or the big girls, the big leagues.
Well, there's breweries that's been around here since... What was it? Jämtland, 97.
Yeah.
You,
I started 20 years later. So.
Yes. So it's a really cool scene. I love the atmosphere. They got beer pong. They got like cheeses. They got.
Yeah, I tried to throw down those cans. Didn't work. I got like 3 of them.
Tor, I'm not gonna keep you away from your beers for too long.
Yeah.
I just have one more question, and this is probably the toughest question in the world when it comes to people who love beer. You are gonna die today. You can have one more beer.
Founders Imperial Stout.
That was quick.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for participating in the podcast.
Yeah.
Go back and work some.
Yeah. Nice to see you.
I'll come over. Lovely beer, though.
Yeah.
By the way.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys. I see you later.
Cheers.
Probably the fastest answer to our final question ever, and with no hesitation at all. Next up is Andreas from Vreta Kloster, a home brewer that brewed too much beer, so he had to go commercial. Welcome back to Beer Bubbles Podcast, the bubbliest podcast in the world. I'm standing here with Andreas from Vreta Kloster. In my opinion, one of the best Belgian breweries in Sweden.
Yeah.
I got a scoop that you're not drinking that much.
Yeah, somebody said that, or asked me if I drank a lot, or what I did drinking when I had beer, and I said that I'm usually drinking New England IPAs.
Okay.
But not that much, really, compared to colleagues in the business, I would say.
But that's not really what the beer you're making.
No, not at all. I love Belgian-style beers, but I'm doing it myself now, and of course I'm trying my colleagues' beer, which are Belgian-style. But if I, just want a beer, it's a 8.5 strong and New England IPA.
Double dry hop,
Double
hazy
dry
as
hop,
fuck.
pineapple and mango. No grapefruits.
Andreas, I've asked everyone I've spoken to so far, what do you think of this concept, this little festival?
I think it's a great concept because it's a more relaxed version of a festival. It's quite small, intimate, so you get time also to speak with the customers and tell them about your beer and so on. So I love the concept in that sense. Yeah.
What's the backstory behind Vreta Kloster? How did you start up?
I mean, I started this almost 5 years ago, and that was based on me having been a home brewer for 1.5 years. And I started brewing Belgian-style beers because I love Belgium. I travel there a lot and so on. And then I didn't get rid of my beer because I didn't drink it myself.
So you had to sell it.
I mean, I drank it, a bit of it. So I wanted to sell the beer. So then I started the business, and I didn't expect to be a big, huge success because Belgian-style beers. Honestly, it's a very small niche.
Yeah.
I mean, it's if you look at all the beers sold at the Systembolaget, it's a tiny bit. But people, like the beer, and they like the concept, and we're just located by the oldest abbey in Sweden from 1101. It's not there anymore; it's only ruins. But then we could connect to the local history, the kind of tradition from Belgium of still having breweries located in abbeys or monasteries. So
you've won quite a lot of awards for your beers.
Yeah,
I know. I was judging a beer contest where your Santa Helena won the first prize as the best.
Belgian style something,
best beer
best beer.
overall.
Okay, yeah.
I think it was Uppsala Beer and Whiskey.
Yeah.
Where during the pandemic, actually.
Yeah.
We sat in Västerås and judged it.
Yeah.
For the Uppsala Beer Festival.
And my first competition.
Do you think that this style of festival is the future, or is this a complement to the big ones, or?
I think it's a compliment actually, because I think it's the crowd coming here is a bit different. I would guess if you look at the whole picture. So if I want to meet a broad audience, I think I need to do both. This is more fun in one way because it's more relaxed. You meet your colleagues and have some time to engage with colleagues also. But the big, fairs are quite important, I think, still.
But this is more like a party.
Yeah, exactly.
A big house party.
Yeah. I think so. And the big ones, in Gothenburg, for example, in a few weeks, we are exposed to 22,000 visitors. Even though not all of them will buy my beer, I'm exposed to that kind. Here I'm exposed to 500 people.
But it's going to cost you an arm and a leg.
Yeah, it will cost me a lot of money. but hopefully I will bring it back so I can. I mean, for me, if I do a zero-sum game I'm happy because it's advertising. I mean, so I think we still need that kind of context. But although I'm more selective now with which one of these I go to. If it's a place where I lose a lot of money, I mean, it costs too much at the end, I'm not going again. It needs to be somewhere around the zero-sum game.
How is the beer scene today? Is it healthy, or because we've seen a decline of consumers drinking craft beer the last years?
Yeah.
How do we turn that around?
I mean, I think we still need to do what we are doing. I mean, across Sweden. I mean, trying to promote the craft beer together, show the craftsmanship, show the quality in general, which is quite high, and show the width. I mean, we have in Sweden we have brewers that are some of the best in the world, I would guess, if comparing in the different kind of styles. I mean, so we have a good basis. But of course, economy puts, the hinders in the way. Obstacles. But I think, it will turn around in 1 or 2 years. That would be my guess, actually.
I'm gonna let you get back to pouring your beers.
Yeah. Thank you.
But I've got one question left for you.
Yeah.
It's the hardest question in the world when it comes to someone who likes beer.
Yeah.
You're gonna die today.
Yeah.
You can have one more beer. In production, not in production, any brewery in the world. What beer would that be?
I would then have Hört Anker's Van den Kaiser. There's
Cuvée
Van den Kaiser. Yeah, absolutely. Every day of the week.
The Dark Imperial one, or
the Dark Imperial, the
a
big
new one, or an NH one.
They are really nice new ones too. But 3-4 years old would be the perfect thing.
Andreas, thank you very much for you taking your time to be in the podcast.
Yeah, thank you.
And
Great
we
to be here.
guys, we'll see you soon. I'll see you soon. And I'm going to try some more of your
Pouring
beers.
some beer for you.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Always nice to hear a brewer's opinion on the pros and cons with small versus big festivals. Now to a really small brewery that I didn't even know about. It's time for Erik from Prince Kat. Guys, welcome back to Beer Bubbles, the bubbliest podcast in the world. I got it right this time. Last time I said the bubbliest podcast.
Okay.
I'm standing here with Erik from Prince Kat. I'd never heard of you before.
No, it's I've been around for maybe 5-6 years, but I'm very small. I operate around the area of Östergötland in Sweden, Motala, so the brewery is in Motala, so I sell mostly around there. But now I've shared facilities with another brewery who was my friend, but he sold this spring, so I've just started my own brewery, and I've used to ferment in and then prime my beer, like bottle conditioning.
Yep.
But now I've invested in a new brewery, so I have unitanks, and I'm gonna package it on cans. So this is like a re-release for my business.
That's so cool. Tell us about the kind of beers you do.
I mostly do. I started with IPAs, some imperial stouts, but nowadays it's mostly imperial sours. But the brand and the new products will be IPAs, the same sours, more imperial stouts, and I'm also going to try, since I have the system now, doing a real correct lager.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I normally say if a brewery can do a good lager, they're a good brewery.
Yes.
Do you agree?
I agree. You should be able to do a lager and also tasty, not pastry, but real, true imperial stout. Because IPAs are cool and fun, but as you know, you can hide more or your
behind the hop profile.
Yes. So,
what do you think of the festival?
I think it's great. I think these kind of festivals, for me at least, it's the future, where you have not so many breweries. You get more. You can discuss more and hang out with the customers or the guests, as you call them, compared to the big.
I think I spoke to Ilbatting about it.
Yeah.
That at the big festivals, the display draws people.
Yeah.
Here is the beer that draws people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're actually playing on the same, like an even playing field, basically.
Yeah, I agree. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the atmosphere is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a home party.
Yeah. One thing that I love about this business is that neither of us see ourselves as competition. we are all colleagues. We want everybody to succeed. That's I don't think it worked that way in other businesses.
It's a really open business.
Yeah.
And people are friendly and helpful.
Yeah.
I'm not going to keep you away from your booth for very long.
Yeah.
This is going to be short and sweet.
Yeah.
But I have a really hard question at the end for you.
Yes.
And it's basically, you're going to die right now. You have the chance to have one more beer. Any brewery in the world, in production, out of production, your choice. But you can only have one more before the Grim Reaper comes and claims you. What would it be?
Ja. Depending on my, in Swedish, dagsform, what's called?
Form of the day?
Form of the day. I would go for some kind of lager, and what comes to mind now is a beer that doesn't exist anymore. Would that be okay?
Yeah, of course.
Because I live in Motala, but I am from the town Eskilstuna. And they used to have Pilsner called Fröslunda Tjeckisk Pilsner.
From Eskilstuna
Yes.
Bryggkultur.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love that beer. And the only thing I've come to that resembles that, it's the original Hell from Jämtlands. Yeah. So maybe my taste buds have changed, but then when I had it, it was like, wow! Yeah. Can you make a Pilsner that tastes this much?
And you probably want a full lager tank to sheet the Grim Reaper for a while.
Yeah.
So you can drink the entire tank before.
Yes, of course.
Thank you very much, and have a great festival.
You too. Thank you.
And you guys stick around. There's more to come. So, soon we'll be able to have Prince Cut in cans. I'm really looking forward to that. At the festival, I also met Helena Lind, a colleague of ours from the beer podcast Ölpölen. She's a great advocate for women in beer and active in the network Ölgaris. Here is what she had to say. So, welcome back to Beer Bubbles, the bubbliest podcast in Sweden. I'm speaking to Helena, who's from another podcast in Sweden, Ölpölen.
Ölpölen, yeah.
Ölgaris, you've been in this game for a long time.
Quite some time, yes.
Who are you, and how did you end up in this business?
Well, I'm basically your regular beer geek. I've been trying beer, or as one says today, ticking beer since around 2001 or so. And, well, it's been really fun to follow like the development of this European and the Swedish craft tradition. I mean, because a lot has happened through these almost 25 years that I've been a part of, I would say, the beer community in Sweden. And during and after the pandemic, I've sort of become more active in, joined the podcast, and I've been more active in social media and so on. And it's really also nice to follow the local development in Stockholm, because it feels like during this couple of last years, we have more of a scene here as well, where people, get to know each other and collaborate and so on. And I think this craft beer circus is an excellent example of that you see like really drawing a crowd.
Well, we are at the craft beer circus here in Stockholm. Mm-hmm. First time here.
Yeah.
It's been done in Jönköping before.
Yeah.
Outdoors in the rain. But what do you think of the atmosphere here?
It's fantastic. I would have loved to see more female participants, because unfortunately there is quite a male dominance. More lads than ladies, basically. But the breweries seem to be enjoying themselves. People are friendly and kind, and people seem to be. They are enjoying the beers, but you don't see too much. It's not too rowdy, so that's really nice, I think. And also that you can have a craft beer festival during the daytime and still draw a crowd. I think that's great.
There's been lots of people here today.
Yeah.
I thought because this is the first stint we're into. There's one more shift coming on later on. I thought it was going to be way less people here on the first one, but it's been full.
Oh yeah, or full enough. Not too crowded, but and the other thing I really enjoy here is that you see this range of beer styles that you can try. You can try everything from like more traditional sour ales or wild beers to IPAs and lagers and so on. So the only thing that I'm missing is a saison. There is one saison actually, but I'm sort of a fan of the farmhouse ales. So, but I think that's really nice.
But there is a couple of saisons
around.
Yeah,
some of them, yeah.
But going back to the gender thing, it has become better.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and I hope that we can include both, I mean, the new generation, but also women my age, 40 plus, who maybe, think that beer is nothing for me and I don't like beer, but that's because they grew up on industrial lagers, so they haven't really even given craft beer a chance.
And also, like, traditionally, you've been drinking wine when it's been like a nice occasion, and you've been drinking beer to get drunk.
Exactly.
And nowadays, that's not the case, because beer is paired with food. Beer is transitioning gender borders. More and more people are getting into beer, and still craft beer has kind of stagnated in sales.
Yeah.
Is that because of the price?
Prices, but I think also that people generally spend less money on, recreation. So, and then you try to come back, and then you perhaps you choose. Either you choose something that you believe is a cheaper craft beer, and that's where craft washing comes in, why that is such an issue, because it's important when you do spend money on more expensive beer that you actually choose something that's truly craft, and not an industrial brewery masquerading as craft beer, basically.
One of the government parties was standing outside giving out pamphlets and stuff, and I asked them about differentiated alcohol tax, and this is actually one of the parties that are driving this issue. They didn't have a clue.
No. And I remember when I lived in the Netherlands, and then even strong alcohol. Even the spirits, they had different taxes. So people, especially young people, would choose local spirits like Genever and so on. So that had created a cocktail scene with Genever drinks, which wouldn't have existed otherwise. So I think it actually does make a difference to have different alcohol tax levels.
Going back to this festival, Craft Beer Circus, is this the future for beer festivals, or is this a complement to the big ones?
I think there's probably room for different kind of festivals, but as a consumer, this is less about breweries showing off themselves and building their brands, and more about trying different beers. So to me, this is more the kind of festival that I personally like, because it's not too large. You have the actual capability to try quite a few beers, and it's possible to have like a conversation with a brewer, but it's hard for me to say what's best for a brewer, because I'm not a brewer, so I couldn't tell. But as a consumer, I think this is really nice, and hopefully we will continue to be able to attend this kind of events.
Well, Elena, thank you very much. I'm going to ask you one more question before I'll let you go and try some more beers. And this is probably the hardest question in the world for someone who likes beer. You're going to die right now.
Oh, no.
And you are allowed to have one more beer from any brewery in the world. In production, out of production, doesn't matter. One more beer, and that's it. Then the Grim Reaper comes and claims you. What are you going to have?
Oh, this is... I've thought about this, and you need to go by what you feel like. So I would... today, as of right now, I would have a Gose from Driefonteinen.
You're actually the second person to say that today.
Wow!
Kalle from Snausarva said Driefonteinen Gose 2017, because that's the best one he's ever had.
Then I'm in good company, I would say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Helena.
Thank you so
have
much.
a great festival.
You too. Thank you.
And you guys, thank you very much. Last out in this podcast is Malmö's largest craft brewery, Hyllie. With their brewery and taproom located 5 minutes walk from the central station in Malmö, they are a must visit if you are there. Here is their head of sales, Erik Fritjof. Hi guys, welcome back to Beer Bubbles, the bubbliest podcast in the world. I'm standing here with Erik from Hyllie.
Yes.
Malmö's biggest brewery.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'd like to think so. Yeah, probably, or most certainly. Yeah.
Tell us a bit about Hyllie. What is Hyllie?
Hyllie started back in 2016, something like that, as some kind of home brewery that went a little bit too far.
So, as they do.
Exactly. I came aboard in 2019 with the sole mission to make it a little bit bigger and make it a bit more commercial.
You had a great timing there.
Yeah, exactly.
Just before the pandemic.
But I left the event industry, so it was even better, even worse. But yeah, we did a crowdfunding campaign in 2020 and open our new brewery in central Malmö in 2021. January.
You're not located in Hyllie anymore.
No, we tried to find a spot in Hyllie, but they only build like new office spaces and fancy shops and stuff in Hyllie. So
and hotels and conference centers
exactly,
and stuff.
exactly. So we're based like in the middle of Malmö, just 2 minutes walk behind Central Station. So
it's a brewery and a tap room.
Brewery and tap room and a small bistro as well. So we have a.
So what do you think of the festival?
This is awesome.
Yeah.
I was just talking with Jonas from Nyköping here about the vibe. It's really cool. It's a small festival, but I was at Malmö Beer and Whiskey Festival last week, and it was a little bit too much people. So this suits me pretty fine, actually.
So is this the future for beer festivals?
I like to think so. Yeah. Well, I'm
Or is it
also
become
part of the organizing group for the Great Swedish Beer Festival. So we would, of course, like that to stay that way. But
so is this a compliment to the
yeah,
big one,
definitely.
maybe?
There's more opportunity to talk with the customers and laugh with each other. And we're not here to make money. We're here to have fun.
And there's not shitloads of breweries.
No,
it's
exactly.
not big breweries. It's small breweries.
Yeah.
Everyone's got the same. Well, basically, it's 2 or 3 beers each, and a party.
Yeah, exactly. So every guest has the chance to try all the beers, basically, which is pretty uncommon.
You said you were working in the event business. Did you work with Glenn when?
I didn't. I've been working for like event and PR agencies my whole life. Had beer as an interest. Then I started the Great Swedish Beer Festival together with Glenn. And when we were working with that festival, I met Mike, who was running Hyllie, and he asked me if I wanted to join him, and I said, yeah, of course.
I think it's absolutely beautiful. As I said, it feels a bit like a home party.
Yeah,
the
definitely.
atmosphere is beautiful.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's not just beers; it's beer pong, it's
exactly.
cheese, it's you name it.
Full circus.
Yeah. He's been going on about the bikes, the Indian bikes here all night.
He likes to talk.
Well,
but it's good.
I
mean, that is also something that stands out a little bit in this festival, because we rarely see like a showrunner or someone who's leading the conference here, who's leading the event. So this is actually something new, I think, which is great for the guests, that all the breweries get to be introduced in front of all the guests. That never happens before, so...
I can tell you it's not new, because I've done that before.
Okay, cool.
I used to travel around being a conference here for lots of beer festivals.
All right, yeah.
But it's sad that they actually...
But you hardly see it anymore, so...
no, it costs money.
Exactly,
So that's probably why they stopped.
Yeah, probably.
I'm not going to keep you away from your lovely
No
beers.
worries, I had 2 other people working there, so...
you can relax.
Exactly, yeah.
But I'm going to ask you the last and final question. And this is basically the final question, because you are going to die right now.
Okay, cool.
You can have one more beer. Any brewery in the world. In production, out of production, doesn't really matter. One more beer, but then the Grim Reaper will come and claim you.
Yeah, okay.
So what are you going to have?
Rothaus Tannensäpple.
That is a beautiful lager.
Yeah.
I love that one.
Yeah.
Thank you for naming that one.
Not a Swedish beer, though.
No, it's a German fantastic beer from down in Schwarzwald, south of Germany. If you get a chance to try it, drink it, because it's absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you.
Eric, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Have a great second stint of the festival, because we're only in the first one still. There's more people than I thought it was going to be on the first one.
Me too. But it's even more on the next one, so it's going to be a hell of a party here.
Oh, well, I'll better pack this away and have a beer instead then.
Okay.
Eric, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye. Well, that's it for this time. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we did. Don't forget to check out our social media for updates on what we do. And if you're in the market for early releases, extra materials and such, join our Patreon. Until then, drink better beer.
See. Yes! I found it! What? I have found it! What? The beer bubble!